Ladies and gentlemen, Saturday, the 5th of November of the year of the Lord 2022. Here we are from Palm Springs, California. We're about to start the Leo Zagami show. Of course, we never start on time. That's part of our tradition. We hope that you will enjoy this show. And here we go with La Danse Macabre. I think I could have been an orchestra director in another life.
Yeah, you could have done that. There you were.
Here we are, Leo and Christy Zagami, for our fabulous rundown of the weekly news and our unusual geopolitical analysis.
Hi, everyone.
You are tuning in from all over the world. I see you. You're not many, but you are climbing. The numbers are climbing. Yes, I hope that people understand that we've been, of course, not only shadow banned, but we had 17 channels removed. So we are the survivors. This is, of course, our main new channel. Most of you are watching us from the Leo Zagami show, Leslie, and then we have also Leslie News, the Leo Zagami show, and then we have Leo Lion Zagami in America, Facebook, so we're broadcasting also on Facebook. We try to be present, and from next week or the week after, we will actually be broadcasting from 5 channels.
Cool.
We're gonna expand. We're gonna invest a little bit more money also to give you an even better product, and that's why we ask for your support. Today we have only 2 sponsors, Pina Carrero Porter, Wayne Ho, and Maria Chorbaziskia. Here we are.
It's our goofy dance.
It's a goofy dance after Halloween. We didn't.
Everybody made it through Halloween.
We made it through Halloween. We say hello to everybody here in the chat. Lisa De Verde, Jenny Jerome, Nico Mas, Sonny Sanz, Kate Matthew, Bruce Codish. Hello everybody. And now we, of course, start with the news. You want to dance? More dance.
Okay, that's enough dance.
That's enough dance.
You have to go on to the news.
You have to go on to the news. This is not a dancing show.
I wish it was.
Oh, well, Dancing with the Stars.
I wish it was a variety show. Singing, dancing, telling jokes, stand up. We could have guests. But instead we have to do the news, so.
But the red wave is coming, ladies and gentlemen. Do you feel the red wave coming? Do you feel it, Christy? It's kind of... I
don't really... Honestly? I don't know what I feel, because I don't trust them at all. I just feel like everything they say is baloney, and even them saying it's a red wave, I feel like, oh, well, we thought it was going to be a red wave, but, this is what happened. You know what I mean?
The red wave from the minute of that scene in Shining. Was a big red wave, just like the one mentioned by Joe Rogan, who made this comparison with a film that we know very well, me and Christy, because The Shining was based on a place where Christy used to live. When I met Christy, she used to live near the hotel where this Shining was originally portrayed by Stephen King, and then of course during the course of the film with Stanley Kubrick, they actually preferred to film part of it, as you know, in England.
I think they filmed the whole thing in England.
Yeah? Well, no, I think though the initial scene the initial scene.
Oh yeah, maybe that was like Colorado.
That was a little bit of a different, a bit of, okay. That's it. In the meantime, let's see what Joe Rogan said about the red wave.
A lot of them. There's a lot of people that are afraid of the reprisal. They're afraid of getting attacked, and they'll silently, when they're amongst friends, going, "What the fuck is going on? Like, what is going on?"
Yeah.
And those people, that's going to be responsible for the red wave. I think the red wave that's coming is going to be like the elevator doors opening up in The Shining. That's what I think. I think people are just like, what the fuck are you saying? They're making Republicans.
I don't know how they're doing it. I had a family member who's a boomer and a diehard liberal, and they told me when I was home this summer that they would vote for DeSantis, and I'm like, how did you lose this person?
Yeah.
How did you lose this person? This is a like, go to the ballot and vote blue no matter what, and you've lost even the boomers.
You've lost a lot of them that aren't talking about it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them.
A lot of people don't really portray themselves as supporters of the Republican Party, the MAGA Republican Party, but a lot of them are behind closed doors. So that's what they were implying. And of course, this comparison is an appropriate one, because we have really, even Gavin Newsom, who is the governor of California, went against his own party and said that this is going to be a red wave. So, I mean, even Governor Newsom.
You believe him, though?
Well, well, I mean, it's not. It goes against his interest.
Anybody else think that maybe they're
playing tricks? Somebody, of course, in the chat says they might rig the whole thing. That's not going to be a novelty if they did that. But of course, we would like to hear what Gavin Newsom, who is kind of promoting himself also outside of the boundaries of his state more and more as a possible alternative to Joe Biden. I think that really Joe Biden is already facing a lot of questions from inside his party. But after this defeat of immense proportions that is happening in 3 days, that point, I think that people like Gavin Newsom are gonna try to enter the scene officially as the runners who would like to be in the White House in 2024. I mean, that to steal Joe Biden's place would be, of course, impossible to think now, because he's such a powerful figure in this party, even if he's completely demented, and we're gonna see that today once again. But the moment in which he will lose the midterm elections, that's the moment in which people like Hillary Clinton, which is lurking around the corner, Gavin Newsom, they will come back in this. Well, they will come in the spotlight and they will say, "We would like to be the alternative." I'm sure that's going to happen. But let's see what Gavin Newsom said.
California Governor Gavin Newsom's race for re-election is not close, so he's campaigning for embattled Democrats.
Does it feel like a red wave?
Yeah, of course it does. And again, I'm not paid to say that. I'm paid to say, fate and I mean, I get it. Look, I mean, I could be the cheerleader. I'm also a pragmatist. You feel it.
Newsom, with one of his party's biggest digital and fundraising operations, sounds like a Democrat with bigger ambitions.
And it goes to my fundamental grievance with my damn party. We're getting crushed on narrative. We're going to have to do better in terms of getting on the offense and stop being on the damn defense. I urge all of you living in Florida.
Well, listen, the question here is not about the narrative. You can't tell people more bullshit and lies, because people are feeling the consequences of the Democrat policies in the last couple of years, especially since Joe Biden has entered the White House almost 2 years ago, when there was that election in November 2020 that changed forever the course of history. and not for the better. These are the kind of ads that Newsom is playing out in other states. I don't know with what kind of courage, when people are actually literally leaving in masses this state to go to Florida, to go to Texas, and then they suddenly see Newsom there playing ads in the local TVs. It must be a nightmare.
No,
is this,
like escape California.
yeah, is this guy chasing us? Is this
they go to Florida and they see him. Not
To join the fight.
Yeah.
Join us in California.
Yeah.
Newsom recently bought advertising in states like Florida and Texas, further elevating his profile. He's practiced at deflecting the presidency question.
No,
How can you be so sure?
because it's not my ambition. It's not the direction that I'm leaning into. It's not the moment.
So one way to answer that question is, I will never run for president of the United States. Can you say that?
Yeah, I have no.
He would probably be the most, if he was ever, it would be the most narcissistic
President of all
president of all time.
interest.
Newsom told us he, unlike some ambivalent Democrats, wants President Biden to run again.
It's been a masterclass the last 2 years, not necessarily in effective communication and generating narrative, but in terms of the substance under the circumstance, with all the headwinds and obfuscation and opposition, I think it's been remarkable.
But those circumstances for the president would get tougher if Republicans take the House.
Kevin McCarthy, as Speaker of the House, fills you with what?
I don't want to say it out loud, but fear. What he's done to aid and abet this notion, the big lie, how he's aiding and abetting.
What? Yeah, because then, you know, the biggest problem for the Democrats is not that the country is going bankrupt and we have rising inflation and the cost of the gas is crazy and the gasoline and everything else. No, the problem for them is that there is a threat to democracy. So you have to go and vote Democrats because there's a threat to democracy. But if you vote Republican, then, wow, then you have lost democracy. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It's just like they have...
They don't want to get voted out because they'll never get back in again, and they know it. And so, I mean, once they go out...
But if you listen to MSNBC, they know it. They know that, and they're claiming that that's dangerous because this might be the last time you can vote Democrat. Well... Let me tell you, I mean, you failed so badly, you suck so badly that you're going to be kicked out of office if America still works in the electoral process. If everything is not rigged, we should have a fair election, and that fair election should bring this red wave.
Functionally authoritarian leaders across his party.
Authoritarian leaders. Ooh.
Yeah, it scares the hell out of me.
We asked Kevin McCarthy's office for a response to Newsom and did not hear back.
Well, of course, McCarthy could be bothered to answer to this loser. They are a party of losers, and they know it more and more. In the last few days, there has been Obama campaigning in Pennsylvania, Biden, Trump. Everybody is campaigning to support, their own political faction. In any case, we know that the Democrats are weak, and he talks nonsense really when he goes on stage, and so it's very difficult to grasp really people like Joe Biden and people like Fetterman, because they don't make sense most of the time. They have their own health issues, both of them. One guy, of course, is senile, the other one had a stroke. They shouldn't be in politics.
Thank you. I mean, nothing. And I promise you that. I tell you what. And, that woman, what's her name? She's doing an incredible job. Look, folks, we need to elect the ballot up and down. This is why we're here. Not a joke. When I took office, this economy was in ruins. No, I'm serious. Although, and many may not feel that way, but business income is up, And guess what? The economy is up, price inflation is down, real incomes are up, gas prices are down and need to come down further. Exports are also up. No, I'm serious. That's why it's up. That's not a joke. No, I'm not joking. And they're whining. They're whining. No, not a joke. No, I'm serious. Well, anyway, you know it all. I mean, what the hell are we talking about here? No, not a joke. Mark my words. It is. It genuinely is. Not a joke. What would you say, Joe?
Not a joke. Not a joke. But it's always a joke when he talks, but it's not a joke.
No. Not a joke. And there's nothing. We vote.
He's always shaking the hands to that ghost. I don't know which of the deceased friends or ex-political allies, because he seems to always talk with the dead. Yeah, he has this faculty. People who are close to death at times can talk to the dead.
Is that true?
Yeah, might be the reason why. By the way, welcome to the Leo Zagami show. If you want to support us, and of course you will like longer shows, you will like more shows during the course of the week, the only way we can do that is with your support, and that can happen through Fundly, can happen through GoFundMe, can happen through various, and also Cash App, which is available in Great Britain and in the United States. That's how we support our show. Aside from, of course, my book, which I hope you have purchased, Volume 7 of my Confessions, and of course Christie's books, and soon in 2 weeks max, we will have Volume 8, which will be coming out in Italian in approximately 10 days, and then the week later is going to come out in the English language. This is even bigger book than this one. It's a 560-page book, Volume 8. Grace has been working on it, and it's an impressive book.
There.
Yes, it's an impressive book, and Christy is just giving her magical touch, and we are of course trying to bring it with the timeline that we have given ourselves, and it seems like we are
pushing to the end now.
Yeah. Well, but it's always like that. We would like this book to be really one of the best books that I have published, because I think that you agree, Christy, it's an incredible book, you know? Mm-hmm. So we have seen Trump finally announcing in one of his rallies in Iowa, place, I know Iowa. This is a place
I've never been to
Iowa.
Iowa.
I said I've been to Sioux City in Iowa. And yes, and so this is where he finally basically announced his candidacy for the 2024 elections, just like I forecasted back in November 2020, when I was more or less sure that
I'm gonna campaign for him.
And you're gonna dance the YMCA.
I'm gonna go to all the Trump rallies, and I'm gonna be a MAGA to the max.
You're gonna be a cheerleader, MAGA cheerleader. Okay, this is what our former president, soon to be next president, Donald J. Trump, had to say about it.
And did much better the second time than I did the first, getting millions more votes in 2020 than I got in 2016, and likewise getting more votes than any sitting president in the history of our country by far. And now, in order to make our country successful and safe and glorious, I will very, very, very probably do it again, okay? Very, very, very probably. Very, very, very probably. Oh, that's nice. Well, get ready. That's all I'm telling you. Very soon. Get ready. Get ready.
So here we are. Get ready, and hopefully
Right.
we will have a great, a really great election.
Comeback, because
comeback.
it shouldn't have been a comeback. You shouldn't call it a comeback. He should have never went anywhere. Oh, well, we can't see that.
Okay, then we are, of course, 41 minutes after the hour. I mean, that means 90 minutes to the.
I just honestly, I just really hope that this all works out, and I really hope that we do have a red wave and all of this changes.
Well, I mean, of course, I hope, because we all hope that that's going to be what happens, because we know that the alternative is a bloody civil war, and we already know who's going to win it, because, of course, if we have to fight against a bunch of sissies, that is not going to end up very well. And we hope that
but you
they
did
don't
say
get
2024, so you're always right. So I'm gonna hold on to that.
Yes. Well, I mean, the problem here is like the Democrats, now that they're losing, they're gonna let loose on all the cities their professional rioters, Antifa, Black Lives Matter. That's what happens, because they are really bad losers. Just think about Hillary Clinton. I mean, she is incredibly out of touch with the reality. Yes. And she says that the problem with the crime is actually because of the Republicans. And like the Republican control cities and states are the ones with more crime. I mean, she's completely insane. That's, of course, a lie. Listen to what the never-ending Democrat has to say.
I want people to be safe. That's not the Republicans' argument, because, of course, if you look at real crime statistics, which they're not interested in examining, the states with the highest crime levels are states run by Republicans. That's just a fact. We saw that, very clearly in the recent debate in Oklahoma for the governorship, when the Democratic candidate said, wait a minute, the crime rate in Oklahoma is higher than it is in New York, and nobody wanted to believe that. Mm-hmm. They don't want to solve a problem, whether it's crime, inflation, or anything else. They just want an issue. When given a chance to govern, they don't want the responsibility. We saw that during COVID at the very highest levels of the Trump administration. So when they talk about crime, they're just trying to gin up all kinds of fear and anxiety in people.
Ooh, fear and anxiety with people. They have already been talking about also an amnesty in the last week, an amnesty. We have to amnesty them for all the crimes they have done during the pandemic, and that's a big no. Now they are
Does that mean like
accusing the Republicans of this and that? Of course, there is that other guy from the Democratic Party who even said that, compared the Republican Party nowadays to the Nazi Party, and actually said that the situation was very similar to when Adolf Hitler raised to power, which is a complete lie. And it is insane to even think that, but that's the kind of ideas that these people have. So we, of course, here at the Leo Zagami Show try to bring you this also with at times a laugh, because they are so insane that, I mean, their nonsense is just all over the place. It's just all over the place. And watch the big rally. Yesterday, Joe Biden was here in California. There was not really many people. It was a pathetic little rally of his. Even here in California, we supposedly a state which they have rigged for an eternal blue, which I hope in some way can be tarnished by some red. And here we are. He's arriving. Let's see the big amount of people. Not really. Just sitting in their chairs. Seems like, I mean, there is less people than one of my conferences here. I mean, it's just like, okay, so what happens now? Joe Biden in the Democratic state of California with only a small group of people participating to his, how you want to call it? When he talks with the mouth and not with the ass.
What?
Well,
talking out of his ass?
Well, he farts with his mouth too.
Are the bad guys on the other side of the hedge? I mean, what's the story? You know, I spent a fair amount of time. I guess I was in about 34, 35 times in Afghanistan and Iraq. They're really showing themselves to do really well.
He's been, what, 45 times? I mean, this guy is like, his son died in Iraq, which is not true. Then he's been, I don't know how many times. Soon we're going to see a new version of Joe Biden. Joe Biden meets, I don't know, Rambo. But we don't like saying that because Rambo is the name of our lover. He pretends to be some kind of hero that has fought, I don't know what kind of wars. I mean, this guy invented, okay, he said he was with Nelson Mandela arrested in South Africa. I mean, he comes up with the most amazing lies, but you see, he's old, so everybody forgives him. And he said that we're going to win this time. This is the latest from Joe Biden, who, by the way, says maybe people want more of their demented policies. It's insane.
I know you always ask me how we doing. We're going to win this time around, I think. I feel really good about our chances. I haven't been in...
He feels... You're gonna win this time. He feels good about what kind of demand, guys. I mean, this is like really the Twilight Zone. Is something is not really adding up here because the guy is out of touch with the reality, completely insane. Huh?
All the House races, but I think we're going to keep the Senate and pick up a seat. I think we have a chance of winning the House. I don't think we're going to not win. Keeping the House.
That's not true. That's not true. And I'm going to show you the polls. Polls, which prove that basically the Senate is being lost by the Democrats in the latest projections, and of course the House is already lost. So that's about it, dear Joe. Don't lie to the American people, but we know that you love to lie.
So I'm optimistic. I really am.
He's the only one who's optimistic in the whole Democratic Party because everybody else is talking about a red wave, even Newsom, but he's optimistic.
I find that, you know, most of the debate that occurs in the places I visit, I know you don't think it, but I think we have pretty good crowds. They're fairly enthusiastic. You don't write it that way, but they are. And I find...
Where? Crowds of who? Of people who want... more inflation, more taxes, more loss of jobs, more censorship on the internet, more pedophilia, more drag queen story hours, more, I don't know, who are the people who want this kind of thing? I don't think that you will find anybody who really wants that kind of thing.
That the thing that gives me the most confidence is the fact that the policies we've initiated, people care about. Now, they want more. They have right to be, but I don't know anybody who's really opposed to us bringing down medical prices and prescription drugs and all those other things. So I feel optimistic. And you can smile. I'm okay.
Mr. President, could I just ask you one quick question?
Not a question of smile. People were laughing in his face when he was saying optimistic. A question of smile. You're talking bullshit, sir.
You said that you were going to meet with the oil companies. When is that going to happen?
Well, that was Joe Biden for you guys. Not really a president you can trust, because it's just out of this reality. Maybe he's in line, of course, with all the lies of the Democratic Party that continue also when it comes to the Paul Pelosi affair, the attack mainly on Paul Pelosi that happened in their $6 million mansion in San Francisco by a Black Lives Matter nudist activist. Pedophilia, also a guy who was not only accused, but he actually was condemned for this. How is possible? A guy who basically is being investigated for pedophilia in this country. We don't know. But in any case, I saw a very funny clip from Tucker Carlson, which I would like to play to our audience, in which this expert who Tucker Carlson interviews talks a little bit about the hammer, and talks also about the fake boobs of Nancy Pelosi, because I mean, even with the fake boobs of Nancy Pelosi, it's obvious that
I didn't know she had fake ones.
Well, of course she had fake.
I don't look.
Well, let's see what Jason Whitlock said at Tucker Carlson show, because this was very funny.
Thanks so much for coming on. They're clearly lying. Like, what is this?
I got to set the record straight. I'm with The Blaze. I got a YouTube channel, youtube.com/Jason Whitlock, not Outkick. But Tucker, listen.
Yeah.
I'm not upset with NBC. I have no expectations for them as a journalist. What I really have to stand up and defend, I'm outraged for Nancy Pelosi. This woman has taken the hard-earned money she's made from insider trading and invested in a pair of cans at 82 years old, and comes home to find out that her husband's playing hide the hammer with a Black Lives Matter guy? You talk about disrupting the nuclear family. The Black Lives Matter crew must be ecstatic because this guy's doing it, and so is Paul Pelosi. I'm upset for Nancy. She spent her hard-earned money on a pair of cans, and he's not interested.
Well,
what do you think of that? Another bad. We're fighting with the hammer. The handling of the hammer.
Of course, we can't confirm or deny your suggestion, but I must say I did notice that the second people started speculating about what might have really happened, which we are not doing and haven't done, but some have, because in the absence of the body cam video, why wouldn't they? I saw these liberals on Twitter saying it's disgusting that you would suggest there was anything alternative going on. I thought they were defenders of the alternative. When did that become immoral in the eyes of the Democratic Party?
Tucker, I don't want to put you in a tough spot, but I got to correct you again. Are you suggesting that my information that she
about the fake boobas
spent her money on a pair of cans? Are you saying that's bad information? I've seen a lot of evidence. I feel real comfortable. She's trying to entice her husband, but he's interested in playing hide the hammer on a Friday night with some weirdo. I think there's an issue. This is what needs to be investigated. This is the whole end game for Black Lives Matter. Disrupting the nuclear family. Start with the Speaker of the House.
Jason Whitlock of The Blaze.
That's it. I mean, definitely one of the most funny moments this week. This is the Leo Zagami show on the 5th of November of the year of the Lord 2022 with Leo and Christy Zagami.
All you can do is laugh at all these jokes and lies and all this stuff they put out. And it's like Greg Gutfeld and Tucker.
Well,
they make me laugh.
Yeah, but the moment that things were actually, probably some truth was said finally on NBC with Miguel. Miguel is like a little bit camp, let's say.
Friend of Lester?
Yes, Lester's Holt main camp journalist.
I like him.
Well, it's always like.
Said it.
How is it called? Miguel something?
Armagor or something.
He's like he's always posing like this when he does. Lester.
Right, you pose too.
Lester.
You pose too. You're always posing.
I'm not like that. Come on.
Don't yell in my ear.
Lester. Is Lester Holt also from the other side?
I don't care.
But in any case,
why do you care about this?
Well, I get it. No, I would like to know if the main news service provider here in the United States has been taken over by the LGBT mafia, because this is a mafia these days, unfortunately.
Well, obviamente sí.
Obviously, that seems to be, no? So let's see this clip that was originally broadcast. Miguel Almaguer.
Yeah, I was almost right.
Guys, remember, he always poses like that. Huh? NBC reporter Miguel Almaguer then later on censored because he actually said some truth. He said things that actually don't match with what is the official line, that they are the official version narrative that they're giving out of this story. Because at one point, Pelosi opens the door and then goes back, kind of moonwalking, Michael Jackson style, in the arms of the puppet, who then hammers him, and they fight while he should have been there with the police. This thing is a little bit.
But I think our distraction on this crap.
No, I think
what's really happening.
Yeah, what's really happening? Well, Miguel knows something, and Miguel, he knows something also because he knows all the gay bars in San Francisco, so he must know something. So let's see the censored clip that was removed from every single website of NBC, but is now being basically broadcast by every conservative media outlet on the internet and even on TV, because now suddenly Miguel has done some fine reporting. Of course, Miguel.
Law enforcement officials tell us the bottom line here is this was a terrifying situation. We still don't know exactly what unfolded between Mr. Pelosi and the suspect for the 30 minutes they were alone inside that house before police arrived. Officials who were investigating this matter would not go into further details about these new details.
Now revealing when officers responded to the high-priority call, they were seemingly unaware they'd been called to the home of the Speaker of the House. After a knock and announce, the front door was opened by Mr. Pelosi. The 82-year-old did not immediately declare an emergency or try to leave his home. But
now, this also doesn't fit with what the police said about they knew that Pelosi was talking kind of in a coded way, and they knew that it was. And then everything changes. So many lies here. Miguel, what is the truth?
Instead began walking several feet back into the foyer toward the assailant and away from police.
He walked several feet, doing moonwalking. Yeah. And then embracing the puppet, who, of course, was waiting for him with a hammer, and then fighting the hammer until there was a lake of blood, and the police intervened. Because the police waited until there was a lake of blood to intervene.
I don't think there was.
It's unclear if the 82-year-old was already injured or what his mental state was, say sources. According to court documents, when the officer asked what was going on, defendant smiled and said...
Yes, also there is another thing that the origin, it was reported also that another guy, and we talked about it last week, another guy was also present there, but this other guy suddenly is out of the picture.
I don't think he got hit by a hammer at all. I think that's a lie too. I don't think he even went to the hospital. I think it's all a lie.
I think it depends what you define as a hammer. If you define your penis as a hammer, he might have been hit with a hammer more than once.
Everything's good, but instantaneously, a struggle ensued as police clearly saw David DePape strike Paul Pelosi in the head with a hammer. After tackling the suspect, officers rushed to Mr. Pelosi, who was lying in a pool of blood.
What we do know is...
Miguel, you should investigate this matter. Let's see more bullshit from the San Francisco police.
He brutally attacked Mr. Pelosi and attempted to kill him.
So that is the only thing that is...
You can tell that guy's lying. Liars, all of them.
You are the conspiracy theorist.
Carrie Lake says you are... Carrie Lake has discovered this week that her opponent in this very important race for becoming governor of an important key state like Arizona, Carrie Lake, it's now revealing that her opponent's husband is somebody that goes around chopping people's willies. Sorry, if you want to say it in the British way. Katie Hobbs, which is the candidate that is opposing Kari Lake in this very important, I think this is a very important run, one of the most important runs. Kari Lake reveals basically that Katie Hobbs' husband specializes in the transformation of children into their gender fluidity.
Changing the gender of children?
Yes.
Well, that's not good.
That's not good.
They're going after our kids. I heard something today about Katie Hobbs that absolutely shocked me. First of all, we already know she's an open borders person. When she was in the legislature, she voted against a border wall. She voted against a virtual border wall. She voted against the strike force to help us protect ourselves from what's happening at the border. And at the same time all that was going on, we found out that she sponsored. Now, when you sponsor a bill, you're putting your name on it. That means you're super proud of it, right? Is that right, Wendy? If you sponsor a bill, you are so proud of this that you're putting your name on it. The bill she sponsored was going to introduce sex education starting in kindergarten. That's what she's about. Now, I'm going to be honest, my father was a public school teacher, God rest his soul. He was a football coach, he taught history and government. I'll tell you what, he would be shocked at what's happening in our schools right now. No kindergarten teacher. Any teachers in this room? You did not sign up to be a teacher. Thank you, by the way, for your hard work. You didn't get in, that's right. You didn't get into teaching probably to get rich, although I do think you need a pay raise and a big one. But you didn't get into teaching, especially if you're a kindergarten teacher, to talk about sex with 5-year-olds, right? This is why we're losing good teachers. This is why we're losing good teachers. Today I found out, as she's pushing things like gender affirmation surgery, which is a nice way of saying mutilating our children. You know she's for that, right? And she's for it against mom and dad's will, behind mom and dad's back. I learned why today. We just found out her husband is a child psychologist who specializes in transitions for children. We found this out today. It makes sense now. It makes sense. Why would she push this stuff on our beautiful babies who are perfect? But her husband's making money, brainwashing our children into thinking they can be a different gender than they were born. It is sick, it is twisted, and we cannot let this monster anywhere near the governor's office, guys. And I wonder if the fake news will cover it. Katie Hobbs' husband is in the business of transitioning our children into a different gender. Let that sink in. I don't think they will, because you know what? I bet they're not parents. And there is a force inside a mama bear. And I know many of you know what I'm talking about. And a papa bear. Have you ever seen the video? I'm going to think about videos I've seen in the past where a child, you know, a tragic incident, a car rolls over a child, and you see a video of a father, regular guy, lifting a car off a child, superhuman, like Hulk strength, or a mom and a dad lifting a car, and you go, how did that happen? That is that mama bear instinct inside of us. And the left has gone and done the stupidest thing in the world. They got between a mama bear and her baby cub. It's the most dangerous place you can go in nature, right? And we will not sit idly by while they try to brainwash our kids. We will not sit idly by while they talk about things that are never to be talked about with our children, like sex education in kindergarten. And this is why we need some common sense. And this, I'm not trying to be mean. I love all people. I feel for people who have confusion like that. But don't push this on our children. Their brains are so malleable. I mean, we think about the power of suggestion. There's a whole billion-dollar industry called advertising that uses the power of suggestion. It is powerful. and to use our children's minds and fill it with stuff that's just completely inappropriate. We're not going to take it anymore. We're going to finally start giving our kids a proper education. I promise you, we will restore a quality education for our children. Are you for that? Good. I'm going to age myself. I'm going to age myself right now, and I'm looking around this crowd. There's a few people my age or older who will understand. Remember when in high school we used to teach real life skills and work skills? Who's old enough to remember? I don't even want to admit it. I'm old enough to remember that. Wendy and Hal are like, yeah, we remember that. We're going to bring that back. We want a dual-track education. Yes. We want a dual-track education, so after 10th grade, our kids decide, do they want to go the 4-year college track? And if so, that's great. We keep them on that path. Or do they want to get trade skill training, vocational training, and career certification in high school so they're ready for the high-paying jobs that are out there? They want to do that. And the beautiful thing is, how many of you work in the trades? I think it's the most noble of professions. These are the smart ones out here. They're probably not in a whole bunch of debt either. And you could probably work 80 hours a week if you wanted to, right? You're in demand. The beautiful thing about that is you go into the trades, you can still decide to go to college, but you always have that to fall back on. Some of the most amazing people I've met on the campaign trail started in the trades. They have an HVAC company now, and they're an electrical company. They have a plumbing company. They're the smartest and the richest people I've met on the campaign trail. And they tell me, Carrie, we need more workers. And I always use the point when I was down in Tucson, in the Vail School District, just outside of Tucson. They have embraced vocational training in their high schools. This is what's going to save our public schools, guys. They've embraced it, and you can go and get culinary arts. You can get medical. You can become a CNA. You can get welding. I always remember the welding class because the kids were so happy. First of all, they're welding. How cool is that? I mean, they're like smiles on their face. The instructor said we had to grow this the first year. It was so popular. And he said, look around this schoolroom. Every single one of these kids will graduate with their diploma and a full-time job offer, 100% of them, making $70,000 to $100,000 full benefits.
And this was Carrie Lake that got in kind of a confrontation with Hillary Clinton and was forced to say, you know, I don't want to be suicidal kind of thing, you know. Did you hear about that, Christy?
No.
I'll show it to you because, I mean, of course, everybody knows that when Hillary Clinton starts attacking you, you might be in trouble because there is a long list, unfortunately, of people who died. So Carrie Lake said, I'm not suicidal. I'm not suicidal. And we know that Carrie Lake, of course, is doing great in Arizona, where this other clown you see on the right, Obama, went and tried to gain momentum. But I guess that no miracle for the Democrats who are really finally gonna show their true colors when they lose. And that's gonna be, I think, one of the most dangerous moments for American history, because they might get really ugly and push for violence. And at that point, well, let's see what happens.
But I was a little concerned today, I'm going to be honest, when I saw Hillary Clinton bad-mouthing me, and she looked angry and actually scared and just completely unrelated. I want you to know, just in case you're wondering, I'm in perfect health. My brakes on my car are in good shape, and I'm not suicidal. And we're going to win this thing on Tuesday.
So, I mean, they make jokes about it, but everybody in America knows that Hillary Clinton, the Clintons are basically assassins. That's what they are. And Hillary is still there, though, trying to get back on the on the campaign trail for the next presidential election, because that seems to be really what she wants to do. Remember, we're going to see some really weird things happening after the midterm election, because after the red wave hits, then these people are going to immediately attack Joe Biden, attack themselves, one with the other. It's going to be an all-out war within the Democratic Party. That's almost certain. Welcome to the Leo Zagami Show. On the screen, you see one of the ways you can support us using Fundly, but we also have Cash App, and we have also GoFundMe, which you can use, by the way. GoFundMe is interesting because, yes, they have censored people in the past, but fortunately we have been spared from that. So we continue to use GoFundMe, and people who have PayPal, which we can no longer use because we have been removed from PayPal 6 times. In the end, we have to give up. I mean, there is only a certain amount of accounts you can link, and then in the end, we have been banned from PayPal. But you can use PayPal through GoFundMe, and that's a way to support us. So not only Fundly, which is a great platform, but also GoFundMe, and then also Cash App. Please support us if you want to see more shows from the middle of November. Once we have finished our immense, great work with Volume 8, we might offer you 2 shows a week. But of course, if we get contributions, because in the last week we didn't get any contributions, to tell you the truth, a couple, very minimal. But we want to find more people who are interested in sponsoring us. However, we thank Pina Caero Porte, and Wayne Ho and Maria Chorba-Ziska, who are basically the sponsors of today's transmission, at least to cover up the cost of this broadcast. And I want to go back to Halloween.
Okay.
Because this is something that happened with Joe Biden and his wife during Halloween. And it's not really, I don't think it got the deserved attention. It's very funny. And you know that we love our funny moments. So at least this president, it's bad for everything he's doing. And of course, we should be crying rather than laughing, but we can't help it. I mean, the guy makes one gaffe after the other, and it's such a joke. And at Halloween, him and Jill, who was dressed up, and he, of course, as usual, he gets lost. He always gets lost because, you know, Biden's main thing is to get lost. And he seems to be constantly lost. And after that, we will show you also an ad by Fetterman, which you will really find odd. Everybody will find odd, and apart from being hilarious, odd and hilarious. I'm here basically trying to prepare these various videos that I have. If I manage to find them, here we are. Let me show you in the meantime what happened at Halloween with Jill and Joe in search of something.
They're really showing them.
scary, scary, scary. Of course, another performance by Biden, who was completely lost. But Biden is lost most of the time and is also very slow most of the time. Let me show you another moment. This week has been full of moments with Joe Biden, who is, of course, cognitively speaking, more and more frail, slower than normal, especially here in California. Check out what he said here.
And I know some of you are even seeing whether or not you qualify or whatever you have. Anyway, I won't go into it, but it's tough stuff. But we have an obligation. And the way the...
Oh, well, put together in one room Fetterman and Joe Biden, and you will definitely come out of this room very confused. Especially when Fetterman is supported by Oprah Winfrey. I mean, Oprah Winfrey had to support him, so then, in a way, implying a criticism towards Mehmet Oz, which she launched many years ago herself. So she is a Democrat, Oprah, and she, of course, intervened. But Fetterman did the most odd spot ever. That is reminiscent of an old ad from Coca-Cola back in the 70s kind of thing.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't know if it's so cool. You have to see the ad, and then you're going to see that this is not normal. This is not normal, and that's why the red wave is coming. The red wave is definitely coming. But what on earth is Fetterman doing in this ad?
Mr. Fetterman. Mr. Fetterman.
Yeah?
You need any help?
I'm running for the U.S. Senate, kid. I need all the help I can get.
You're running for Senate?
Sure.
Where's your suit? And your flag pin? And your hair?
Oh, hey, kid.
I just want you to know I'd vote for you.
Hey, thanks, kid.
You want a drink?
Nah, no.
Really, you can have it.
Okay. Thanks.
See you around.
Hey, kid.
There was this ad in the 70s, I think, end of the 70s, some Coca-Cola green ad, I don't remember.
Well, no, and they did it with Cindy Crawford in the 80s.
Catch.
Wow. Thanks, Mayor John.
I mean, come on, guys.
Yeah, it's cheesy. Creepy, cheesy, and all the rest.
Weird ad, the weirdest ad in
that
this
kid,
election.
are they going to make the kids vote now? Like all the Democrat kids are going to vote for Fetterman?
No, well, the kids can't vote, not yet, thank God. In any case, there seems to be also some problems with AOC. AOC is having a lot of problems. She had a lot of problems a couple of weeks ago when she got distracted by her members of her own political party that basically her own constituents that said that she's a sellout. Check this passage out, and then we're gonna, of course, see also a new moment of difficulty from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
You are the establishment, and you are the reason why everybody will end up in a nuclear war.
This is not a bad one to say, huh? This is like, guys, period, boom, and that's it.
Unless you choose to stand up right now and denounce the Democratic Party, will you do that? Yes or no? Okay, simple. Are you going to stop nuclear war? Yes or no? There is no line, because this is bullshit. None of this matters if we're all dead.
Absolutely brutal. Here is Alexandria
Absolutely brutal, definitely very interesting. But recently it got even worse for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez with people chanting against her, and it seems like Ocasio-Cortez is having some serious problems. What did you think of this attack? Of course, her constituents are not happy with her. I
think it's good.
I don't think that she has a possibility. She will be re-elected if she's basically.
I mean, people are really uncomfortable right now, even the Democrats. So
Yes, people are really uncomfortable.
they can't pay their bills or fill up their car or anything.
Well,
so
check this out, because she's so stupid that when the constituents, angry constituents, are chanting AOC has to go, she's dancing. She's really dancing, guys. She's insane. Check this out.
Very classy. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay.
People can't stand it anymore. This privilege. Can I say it? No.
no, whatever you're gonna say, don't say it.
We think that if this is the present state of the Democratic Party, they are really kind of imploding on themselves.
I'm not allowed to be in a room when the lights turn off. It gets a little. That's one of the things. All right, listen. All right, listen. Okay, listen.
Who do you think she is? The guy from Scarface?
She pulled out some accent.
It's insane. I mean,
she pulled out some Spanish accent from Brooklyn. I know the accent.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if that's the right thing to do. But definitely AOC, a Jesuit agent. She's openly a Jesuit agent. I mean, she's not only Catholic, she has been writing even for America. The Jesuit publication is having also her own problems. And then we have Herschel Walker, who blasted his opponent. We know that Herschel Walker is, of course, fighting the fight, the righteous fight. And she is been blasting that terrible person that, of course, is opposing him. There's been a lot of criticism about him because of these abortions and so on, but we believe that he is a much better option, that his opponent is literally a monster inside and out.
Each I ever make, I always acknowledge my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because he said if you don't acknowledge him, he's not going to acknowledge you. And I also want to acknowledge my wife, Julie, because she's in this fight with me. And also my team Herschel, who's here with me. But I also want to acknowledge all of you for coming, and I want to thank you so much. And I want to say it's amazing. The Democrats are going crazy right now, aren't they? They're going crazy.
Imagine this. The University of Chicago has accused him of being a subliterate or something like that.
Illiterate?
Subliterate. Or I don't know. I mean, it's just insane that you can accuse. Let's go and check. Let's go and check because Walker subliterate. Let's see if we can.
I always learn new words when I hang out with you.
So, an anti-racist professor, defined as an anti-racist professor, calls Herschel Walker subliterate. So that's it, subliterate. I'm gonna show it a second, but just a second, so we can show it to our viewers, and so then after we can pick it up. This is, and then of course, Christy would like to know what subliterant means, and then we're gonna go into the definition of that. But this is anti-racist professor called, how can you be anti-racist and accusing a black man of being subliterate? Using what is basically a racial slur. It doesn't make any sense. This is the state of Democrats these days. They insult people with racial slurs. Subliterate is somebody who is basically underliterate, who is not less than fully literate.
Okay, this is like illiterate is not literate.
Yes, but this is less than fully literate, able to read or write only at a low level.
That's really rude.
Yeah, that's very rude. But at this point, let's continue to hear what he has to say.
Coming after me with everything right now. Y'all saying they throwing the kitchen sink. I saw a preacher the other day, another one, not just Senator Warnock. I saw another preacher going after me. Did y'all see that? You know, I was like, in my church, we talk about brotherly love. We talk about forgiveness. And yet we don't talk about our political opponent. He's talking about all of that things he's talking about me. Can y'all believe that? Yeah, in my church we talk about loving your brother. And he's talking about his political opponent. And then did you hear what he said? That they don't need a walker, they need a runner. My last name is Walker, but he never seen me run, has he? Yeah. I thought I was at an Obama rally for a moment. Yeah, and then I said, hey, I got Jesus Christ as my lead blocker. Yeah, he couldn't understand that, could he? Yeah, and then, wait, this was so funny. I was looking at something. Before I get into the speech, I was looking at something that was kind of shocking. I saw where Senator Warnock was talking about this student loan. I don't know if y'all saw that. He said he was looking so forward to getting there and going to the president. He was going to talk to the president and giving this student loan and stuff and all that. Did y'all hear him say all this stuff? And I'm going to talk about this later, but then I read something else, what people were doing with that student loan. Did y'all read about that? Yeah, they was like, they was doing vacation, buying video games, buying booze, drugs, and gambling. I was thinking I was at a Hunter Biden weekend. Yeah, that's what I thought they were doing with that money. But that's what's so funny. And then they're here talking about me. Hey, I love Herschel Walker. But I want to tell y'all this. I just want to tell y'all this. I'm that one warrior that they're afraid of right now. Because what they've done right now, they got Marxists in Washington. And Senator Warnock is one of them. And they're trying to protect him right now. They're trying to protect him right now, and he's trying to hide. But y'all saw him in that debate, didn't you? You saw him in that debate. He's been asking to debate me, and all of a sudden he got a chance. He got a chance to stand on the stage with me, and y'all saw what he became. Y'all know what he became? No. He became Scooby-Doo on the debate stage. I don't know if y'all noticed that. He became Scooby-Doo because as we were sitting there, they asked him, say, will you support Joe Biden for a 2024 run? And he said, oh. I'm like, hey, he became Scooby-Doo. But I'm going to tell y'all the reason I'm running, because I said, I'm so tired of these people. They're trying to lie to you. They're trying to lie to you. And St. Peter met him at the pearly gates. And St. Peter says, sir, you're here a little bit early right now. So your name ain't on the road. So you're the only one in history that's going to get an opportunity to decide where you want to go. Say, I'm going to take you to heaven and I'm going to take you to hell, and you get to determine where you want to be. So he takes him in this elevator and sends him all the way down to hell, and the doors open up. And there was a party going on. He sees some of his friends down there. He's having a good time. And after a couple of hours, St. Peter came to him and said, you ready to go? You ready to go? He said, I got to leave now. He said, yes. So you got an important decision to make. So St. Peter puts him in his elevator, sends him all the way up to heaven. They get to heaven, and there's people floating around on clouds. having a good time, just talking. And after a couple of hours, St. Peter came to him and said, have you made your mind up? Have you made your mind up? And the guy said, well, St. Pete, I hate to tell you this, I think I want to go to hell. That seemed like my type of place. I want to go to hell. St. Peter said, you sure? He said, yes. He puts him in this elevator, sends him all the way back down to hell, and now the doors open up and it is hot. People crying, they're shouting, that says miserable. And the guy go, wait a minute. A couple of hours ago when I was here, there was a party going on. And Satan shows up and said, a couple of hours ago, I was campaigning. And that's what I'm here to tell you right now. No, Raphael Warnock is campaigning. He's campaigning. He's lying to you. Y'all heard him. Y'all seen the people on the left. They're lying to you. They're campaigning right now. They're telling you this is the new normal. Like, we got to get used to it.
Not bad. I mean, this speech, guys, should deserve much more attention from the conservative media. I didn't see much of this speech around, but that's why I picked it up and I wanted to relay part of it to you, because I think he's really talking in a righteous way, in a good way. And he's definitely not a sub-literate as they said he is. This week, of course, we have continued to see news also from Russia. This time, it's been kind of incredible, the news we have received from Russia, because the former President Medvedev has literally said what I've been saying for months. Russia, he said, is fighting a holy war against Satan, and it's kind of like a holy war against Satan implies that the West, unfortunately, is with Satan.
They're not with Satan.
That is I mean, the West follows the World Economic Forum, the depopulation agenda. Just check out this guy. He's called Sadhguru. He's one of these Indian gurus. We started with these Indian gurus in the 60s. We never really got rid of them. And they haven't really brought positive things to the West apart from the yoga techniques. And Sadhguru is open about it. He wants depopulation. He wants less souls. And he does it at the World Economic Forum meeting, he's saying depopulation is his agenda. This is incredible, shocking, but this is their agenda. They want to kill us.
So in the session we just attended here at the Economic Forum, I think there was a sense of relief, actually, in your frankness. You brought up some issues that others are reluctant to bring up.
Always. All the religious groups are against me because I'm talking about population. They want more souls. I want less on the planet.
And they both laugh.
But it's not up to them.
Yeah, but I mean, it's incredible, and they laugh. He said the other religious leaders want more. This want less souls, and they laugh.
Population. They want more souls.
Trouble.
I want less on the planet.
This is basically what the World Economic Forum was: less people on the planet. Tulsi might be a member of the World Economic Forum, somebody says. That's interesting. Fortunately, she's not really running for anything at the moment, but we know that the World Economic Forum has on their payroll for the Great Reset a lot of politicians, even at the local level here in the United States. And we know that we need to oppose that kind of situation. But going back instead to the week of news that, of course, we analyze here on the Leo Zagami show. An important meeting was, of course, yesterday between the Xi Jinping, just confirmed for his third mandate, with the Chinese Communist Party, the Secretary General, head of everything, basically, the dictator of China. Let's call him what he is. And his first meeting with a foreign leader since the beginning of the pandemic was between him and Scholz, a German ambivalent figure. I always said Scholz was a communist, and he's going really against the interest of NATO, of America, of everybody in this meeting that is simply stating a fact. Once again, we see how Germany is ambivalent, like it was at the times of Angela Merkel, which led them to depend way too much from Russia. In this case, this was the first meeting, like I said, with a foreign leader in person, because, of course, we had meetings that were conducted. By remote, like we did in the last couple of years since this whole thing started, more than 2 years now. Fortunately, we're approaching 3 years. Crazy, huh? With Zoom, Skype, but this was an in-person meeting in a country, China, which is still fighting, of course, the pandemic with a zero tolerance kind of policy, which has also created a lot of problems. But for their 2 billion people, that seems to be the choice of the Chinese Communist Party. As you can see, the flag of Germany and China all blended in one. Statement that was, of course, of importance for what is going on was made by China, that invited Russia to not use any nukes. However, we know that at the moment there is a lot of talks about the use of nukes, and Russia in particular has been talking about the main countries, the main superpowers, and the fact that the world 5 nuclear powers are on the brink of a direct armed conflict. And this is really a fact, not fiction. The Russian foreign ministry just said that the world's 5 declared nuclear powers are on the brink of a direct armed conflict. So Lavrov said this with Moscow warning of a catastrophic fallout and insisting of avoiding a clash is its top priority. So while China, of course, invites Russia, we know also that China is the main ally of Russia. It's something that will have, of course, unpredictable and dangerous consequences. We saw what happened last week following the attack on the Black Sea Fleet in Sevastopol. There was, of course, then a retaliation with the Russians not wanting to give their grains any longer, protect the grains that come out of Ukraine any longer, because, of course, how can they protect them if they get bombed in the process? But thanks to the diplomatic efforts of Turkey, then things kind of got back to where they were, and now grains and flour are capable of coming out of Ukraine once again. However, it's a very turbulent situation, and the foreign ministry in Russia says that we are strongly convinced that in the current complicated and turbulent situation caused by responsible and imprudent actions aimed at undermining our national security, the most immediate task is to avoid any military clash of nuclear powers. And I think that is a very sensible thing to say. What did Obama say about nuclear confrontation? He was confronted himself during one of his talks around the country this week, and this is the answer that Obama gave regarding the possibility of a nuclear confrontation with Russia. I think that is important that we listen to what Obama also said, because definitely behind this presidency there is a lot of Obama. There is, unfortunately.
And if elected officials don't do more to explicitly reject that kind of rhetoric, if they tacitly support it or encourage their supporters to stand outside voting places armed with guns and dressed in tactical gear, more people can get hurt. And we're going to be violating the basic spirit of this country.
Mr. President, there's more people that are going to get hurt if we go into nuclear war. Right now, we're on the verge of nuclear war thanks to what you did in Ukraine in 2014. Why won't you tell the truth about what you did to overthrow Ukraine in 2014? Will you tell the truth? Will you tell the truth?
There's a process that we set up in our democracy.
Yeah, but we're on the verge of nuclear war. Do you care about the lives of your supporters? Will you tell the truth before the world walks into world war? The coup of 2014 is on your doorstep. You were the one that allowed for radical you respect the lives of your own supporters. Will you tell the truth to us, or will you give back your peace rights?
Listen everybody. Hey, y'all up there, pay attention. Here's what happens, listen. No. I mean, this is part of, not only is this an example of what I'm talking about, but it's also an example of how we get distracted. Suddenly, y'all ever see that movie, Up, that Disney movie? Right, remember that's dog, and the dog's talking, and that squirrel. And they turn, and that's us with politics. We get distracted instead of focusing on what's important.
2014! You overthrew the legitimate Ukraine in 2014! Tell us about your plans for nuclear war with Russia! Stop provoking nuclear war with Russia! You're going to kill us with nuclear war! Russia's the enemy! Russia is not the enemy! Stop getting us into nuclear war with Russia! No nuclear war! Victoria, no is right, it's overthrow!
They're really showing themselves to do really well.
You have to understand one thing here. And we were talking about it with Christy while we were watching this video. The left has in its DNA since the late 60s this peace and love. Remember that all these people are the products of the universities in the hands of professors that were there fighting against the war in Vietnam, against all wars, peace, peace, peace. They were like always about peace. Now that the Great Reset is moving them towards a different direction in which they have to indulge in wars like the one in Ukraine, it seems like there is some kind of woke short circuit happening here, more and more evident. It happened with AOC, we saw it with AOC, we see it with Obama. People from the crowd saying, we don't want nuclear war. And I think that this voice is going to grow even more after the midterm elections and after they're lost. Because in their DNA, I repeat, their party should be the party that defends peace and puts it at the forefront. There's been no diplomatic attempts by the Democratic Party since this whole charade started in February. If you want to know more about the war, the current situation of the war, and everything that is happening with the Great Reset. Somebody was talking about what kind of entities, demons are behind the World Economic Forum. You need to read this book, Volume 7 of My Confessions. And it's a very important book. And I suggest you all read it. It was very successful. It's still very successful. But I think that you need to prepare for what's coming, because here you have also what's coming, the possibility of riots, civil war, abandoning your cities, how you will survive all this. Volume 7. And Christy is finishing up with Volume 8, something that, of course, we would bring out and present, and I might even have a specific YouTube channel dedicated to all the material I'm gathering for the book, because I think it's important.
Good. People are going to be so excited. All these subjects are really the subjects that everyone likes to explore and talk about.
Yes.
It's like, oh, good, he's talking about that. Oh, good, he's talking, and he's talking about everything. But, it's just so good.
Yes, absolutely. Somebody's writing the Great King Set, and that is one of the first things I write in this book, the Great King Set, the Great Reset. Okay, we will open, of course, the phone lines like usual. We will give you a phone number, and we will be glad to also have your own questions, your own comments. Please stay on topic, avoid talking about things that can get us removed and banned, because we are literally always having to, at times when you talk about certain subjects, better to talk in code when it comes to the algorithms of this demented, no?
Yeah, don't say the word.
Don't say the word.
You just say that or this.
Okay, so I want to give the phone number. Do you remember it, Christy?
970-577-6369.
Okay, let's go and check. This time, repeat it another time.
970-577-6369. Or Leo Zagami and the Leo Zagami Show.
Okay, let me see here if you're right. 970-577-6369. Christy, you really got a great memory.
Not really. I should have known that.
Why not? Why not? Yeah, great memory. Okay, +1 if you're calling from outside the United States. Otherwise, you can just simply call 970-577-6369. Is, of course, appearing also on the screen for you. The lines are open, and you're welcome to intervene during the remaining part of the show while we are discussing still the news of the week and showing you also various videos. In this case, you have to understand, what is a new king supposed to do in Great Britain? Well, King Charles III has done what a libtard king needs to do. First of all, go and visit the Africa Fashion Exhibition in London Museum, being very condescending with the black population. This is the king, King Charles III. Oh, yes. And then he went and also planted a tree. Yes, because he's very much into the climate. He is part of the Great Reset. I mean, he's the guy who launched the Great Reset. I mean, more Great Resetter than him you can't find. Welcome to the Leo Zagami Show for those who have just tuned in. The red wave, remember, is coming. So the red wave is here.
Creepy.
Okay. No, they will call. We're coming along. Exhibition at the London British Museum. I caught them.
I don't know.
You
Can't you talk like your mother?
Yes, if you want, I can talk like my mother.
Your mother doesn't.
How did you know? Oh, nice. Camilla, can you see it? Nice. This is King Charles III, who, of course, wants to embrace Africanism, and he does it with is present in this African fashion exhibition together with the Queen Consort Camilla Parker Bowles. You're from Africa, yes. I've been there. My colonies in Africa. Yes, yes, yes. And then, of course, King Charles III was also, before the meeting for the COP27, which is another libtard moment. Of course, we saw what happened with the previous meeting. This is completely created by the Great Reset agenda, he himself planting a tree. This is what a good king has to do in his spare time, planting trees. Oh, very nice weather, very nice weather. Let's plant a tree with the king. Oh, is this what I need to? Now look at me. That's this. This is the way he acts. I mean, I'm not.
I know, but you don't.
Give me that. I need to dig a tree. I need to.
Your mother would approve.
My mother will approve. Oh.
How are you related to him? Your cousin, is he?
Yeah, he's a cousin. He's a cousin.
Second? He's second.
Third, yeah. The second was my grandfather. And then he goes for his salutes, his royal salutes. Recently, he actually was, he kissed the Stella McCartney. He hugged her and kissed her. But we're going to discuss this subject further on when we will touch the subject of Volume 8. Yes, welcome to the Leo Zagami Show. Who am I talking with and what's your name?
Hi, Leo. What's your name? Shelley from Wisconsin.
So, Shelley from Wisconsin. Yeah, usually I say, and where are you calling from? And instead, I said the same thing, basically. I repeated myself. Okay, so what do you think of today's show and the topics that we've been touching?
I think the show is wonderful. And again, I just love you and Christy. I love watching you guys together.
Thank you. The red wave is the
couple of the year.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for that. Is the red wave coming to Wisconsin?
Well, you know what kind of scared me is when you show the red wave and it's an elevator full of blood.
I thought that too.
Well, I mean,
that kind of freaked me out.
Well,
but I just in 2018, you know, Trump had, or prior to 2018, Trump had the Senate and the Congress, and they blocked him on everything. Just about.
Yeah, because let's make it clear though, it was a different Republican Party. It wasn't the Republican Party of today. It wasn't.
I do agree with that.
Yes, it wasn't.
I really have hope that things can change.
I think
but
that
so many people have been co-opted and blackmailed.
Yeah.
And probably, scared. I mean, threatened with their lives or their families' lives if they don't do, what the World Economic Forum wants.
Yeah, and I think that
they'll just JFK people like nothing.
Yeah, no, I think that it's important to understand that in a way, paradoxically, it's been a positive thing that Trump didn't win officially. Then we know, maybe, without going into the detail about that. It was positive because at that time, Trump would have had basically a Senate, House, Congress against him for the last 2 years, probably stopping him from achieving anything. So the error here was those candidates, which unfortunately were not those MAGA Republicans, the rhinos that were present in large numbers. I mean, we're talking
Mitt Romney,
or the daughter of Dick Cheney, Liz Cheney, typical rhinos. This is we had too many rhinos and too many wishy-washy kind of Republicans that were not really in line with what Trump was doing. So I hope that now it's going to be a completely different situation. And now it depends really from the regularity, of course, of the vote, the way they're going to conduct these coming elections are really we can say that also another paradox. The Democrats have been insisting, as you know, in the last week about the danger of voting Republican because it's going to endanger the democracy. In reality, the democracy is going to be endangered if they trick these coming midterm elections in any way, because that will then lead us inevitably to an armed conflict, which they are already talking about, because they are kind of hinting, there is this white Republicans ready to fight and all this rubbish and nonsense that they are pushing through. It's a very dangerous situation, definitely. So it is
very dangerous, and you know that the Biden regime did send the CIA down to Brazil and tell Bolsonaro to step aside, or the communists, the other guy, I forget.
That is another thing that happened in the last week.
It's like a very, very scary time for the whole world. It's not just the United States of America. It's the whole world.
Well, we had Bolsonaro, who basically was defeated by a margin of less than 2%, a really small margin. And on top of that, immediately we saw most of Brazil fighting the results because they didn't agree with them. And now, suddenly, in the last 5 days, gradually, it was sudden that the news it was all over the place, and then suddenly we didn't see anything about Brazil anymore. We don't hear about Brazil anymore. We only hear that Lula has won, and even if Bolsonaro didn't recognize the defeat, he eventually will, like you said, be pushed aside, because at the moment the CIA is in the hands of the Democrats, and the CIA wants, I don't know why, keep Lula, who with all the other leftists in South America is really pushing towards China. So they are actually facilitating the takeover of South America and Central America by China by doing what they're doing at the moment, even if we know that even the president of the United States himself is a China asset to some extent, So I guess that's why we have also an FBI, an institution like the FBI, acting like some kind of secret police that arrives in the middle of the night and early times of the morning, arresting patriots or threatening them, which also I think is a very bad thing. So let's see what happens now with the red wave, because the Democrats are gonna implode. We saw it with all these videos we showed today, there is signs of implosion because they're going against their own values, their tenets, the fact that they always, they come from that flower power generation, all these freaks that vote Democrat here in California. And their main mantra was peace, peace and love, no war, make love and not war. And now instead they're making war and not love. So thank you so much for calling us.
Thank you, Sally.
And for your questions. And of course, we will be taking in other phone calls if you call us within the next 10 minutes, because that's what we have more or less as remaining time for our show. Please call us. You can do it at +1 970 577 6369. I repeat, +1 970 577 6369. Rambo is going to be coming here also soon, and of course we're going to salute all our crowd with the usual music and all the rest. But it was important to discuss all these topics and also discuss what's happening in Brazil, because it seemed like they were on the verge of a civil war, and suddenly now they're all kind of like silenced, like it happens in Italy, where people are silenced because, of course, when they become a threat to the new world order, everybody's silenced. In the meantime, though, this whole joke of climate change and throwing soups and things has been carried on even in Italy, with Italians mimicking what happened already in England, throwing soup against a Van Gogh painting. We saw it happening before, and it's happening again. In Italy, though, at the moment, there is, at least on paper, a center-right government who has immediately arrested them, and hopefully these kind of kids, they should have some serious problems for their actions, because this is a clown show.
Siamo in un momento storico in cui la siccità prolungata, le catastrofi, stanno distruggendo.
The Italians were a little bit more, get the heck out of here. But they all look the same. Even if they're Italian, they look just as libtards and millennials as the other ones. Are these the new generations? Literally, if these are the new generation, this world can go to hell very easily.
Questo significa che il ciclo verrà a mancare nelle nostre case, sta già mancando adesso.
So these idiots, like in many other parts of the world, continue with their efforts to change and improve the climate change agenda by simply throwing soups around to artwork. And I mean, it just doesn't really go anywhere. It can actually jeopardize. Fortunately, most of these paintings have a glass, they are protected, but I mean, why? I mean, it's no point.
They just seem to want to destroy everything.
They want to destroy everything, and I find
just works of art. They have no respect for anybody's artwork or.
Yeah, it's insane.
Or anyone.
It's insane, and they only.
They're inconsiderate.
Inconsiderate people. Thank you for tuning in today. Actually, somebody's calling us. Welcome to the Leo Zagami Show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Joe from the former great state of Illinois. How you guys doing, Leo?
Great. It was a long time since it was a great state, but I hope you can save it somehow. You think you're going to have some kind of red wave in Illinois, so it's impossible, because I always see it like blue, just like California, no? It's rigged. Rigged
isn't the word for it. Received some mail. Oh, that's right. Mail-in ballots.
Mail-in ballots, yes. They might be the main problem. So you don't think anything is going to change for Illinois?
No, it's not going to change for Illinois. Let's be realistic. They've got a 10%, the Democrats, a 10% approval rating. So right there, that tells you they're going to lose. You know, this COVID nonsense is over, and they're doing mail-in ballots. I received something, me, the wife, and the kid, and it's stating, would you like to sign up for mail-in ballots for the rest of your life? And I'm going, are you well, effing kidding me? I'll watch my French and relax here. But you know, when you're doing something like that, and you know, you're going to print up, you know, thousands and thousands, if not millions, of ballots, give out, you know, driver's licenses to anybody, and set them up with the voting stats, and they don't even have to vote, but you know, they'll put it on the mail-in ballot. It's just like they did with Trump. It's all the Democratic cities. I mean, it's going on in Pennsylvania, it's going on in California, it's going on in New York, it's going on in Illinois, and they're just destroying the country. And you know, what is everybody just going to keep laying back and say, can I bend over a little further? Yeah, it was the fairest election ever, and you know, we're going to do the same thing here. You still got the Dominion machines everywhere. You got mail-in ballots going on everywhere. What is the Republican Party doing? Laying down? I mean, it just makes me extremely ill, Leo.
I can imagine.
Right.
I mean, you're completely right and spot on in what you said, and I thank you for intervening today. But overall, aside from Illinois, do you think that at least we will see some kind of change with with, of course, the Democrats losing both the House and the Senate, because that seems to be the situation at the moment. Regarding your view of that?
Well, regarding my view of that, I think you're going to have a red wave, and you know, they're going to eliminate that in a lot of the Democratic states. But a lot of the other areas, I don't know. It's going to be interesting, because I think the voters are going to show up in such overwhelming numbers throughout the entire country. Just basically, you know, even the libertards and the other people that are kind of clueless, just because what gas prices are. You've got inflation. You know, every time you go to the food store, the prices keep jacking up. You know, we get the gasoline here now is back up to $4.50 a gallon. It's just shot up dramatically, and I think it's probably going to go up to $6 a gallon before Christmas. And you know, it's just it's complete insanity. Complete insanity.
Yes, actually, we have seen, though, the projections that seem to point into a direction which is favorable for the Republicans. Now, these are not the Republicans, like we said to the previous caller, that we saw in the previous elections. These are the Republicans that have gone through let's say, an approval from President Donald J. Trump, and they have basically transformed a party that unfortunately for many years was in the hands of the neocons, and the neocons, of course, were no better than the Democrats, as I call them. Now the Republicans are slightly favored to win the Senate. This is something that even the Democrats are recognizing, that they are going to have some difficulty. But are they going to after get violent? Do you think they're going to unleash Black Lives Matter, Antifa, and all those rioters in the streets of America?
You know, the New World Order is going to do what the New World Order is going to do. And the bottom line is that people, it's not just the United States, it's the entire planet, just like you were talking about with Bolsonaro down in Brazil. I mean, they take the guy out of prison. He was falsely elected, you know, from what I heard prior to that, and put in prison, and then they release him out of prison and put him back on the ballot, and you know, they were putting him in charge. You know, from what I'm hearing, he was supposed to be like twice as good as Trump down there. You know, I don't follow any of the elections or any of the other stuff. I'm just trying to keep up on you know, local news. But from what I've heard over the years is that the guy was like even better than Trump, trying to take care of his people, trying to, you know, bring back his country and give the people a better standard of living. But you know, I think the people on the entire planet are just pissed off. They've had it with the New World Order, and you know, this you would have nothing and you would learn to love it. Well, I've been, you know, learning to love it.
Well, actually,
for a long time, and I'm tired of seeing my standard of living be completely annihilated. And what they're doing now if you're working, if you have a job, they say everything's great, but I know a lot of people that aren't working still. And
check out the book of Klaus Schwab.
Being annihilated on a daily basis. It's more at the food store, more at the gas station, more for your utility bills, more for taxes, more for rent. If you've got credit cards or a mortgage with an adjustable arm, the interest rates have shot way up. So everybody's getting hurt. So I think when it comes to election day, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be rolling with the Republican Party, even though, you get the House Speaker that, he's a Republican, and who's he rolling with? Oh, that's right. He was congratulating Biden before it even went through the court systems and the.
We still have. Let's say this. Yeah, let's say that we still have a couple of swamp creatures that have survived the purge, but we hopefully are gonna get rid of their relevance with these elections, because that's gonna be a great thing if we can. The Mitch McConnell of the situation, the swamp creature that never die, need to really be put aside. Thank you so much for calling in. This was, of course, today's Leo Zagami show. You can see the image of the cover of the latest publication by the World Economic Forum, The Great Narrative for a Brighter Future, of Klaus Schwab. But if you really want to know the Truth, Volume 7 is the book that you need to read, from the Occult Roots of the Great Reset to the Populist Roots of the Great Reject. Please purchase this book or help us by sponsoring our next broadcast. We will be back, of course, next Saturday. But from that moment onwards, we're going to invest a little bit more money to broadcast on more channels with a better quality. And overall, we need your help and your support for our info war that we are conducting here. Rambo.
Fetterman. You have one and he has one. I think everybody has one of these. So I have one too.
Fetterman has ruined
He's ruined the hoodies for all of us.
The hoodie look. Let's hope we can recover.
I was like, we were going to go on a walk yesterday, and I was like, do you have to wear your Fetterman?
Well, it's just like, it didn't used to be the Fetterman hoodie, but now terrible. In the meantime, Russia has warned us about going into a nuclear confrontation. Are you ready, guys? Because we are, of course, leaving you with the sound of the Leo Zagami show. Here we go. See you next week, guys, and let's pray for this mad world that is really going into a Doctor Strangelove kind of mode. We don't like that much. Christy? Well, we wish all of you a great weekend and a great rest of the week. Take care. Want to say something to our audience, Christy?
Bye, everyone. Next week we'll know.
You will know next week if this was the biggest red wave in the history of red waves. Bye. From Palm Springs, California, this was the Leo Zagami Show.